guys, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. Today, I will be doing a chit chat get ready with me while I get ready to film a review. I had requests that I bring back more of those on my channel since I did the one 2 weeks ago, I think it was. So I'm doing it again, and I'm really excited to just drink my coffee and hang out with you guys. Let's zoom in and get started. So I'm just gonna do like last time where I didn't really concern myself with stating what the products were or anything like that. I just hung out and did my makeup with you and chatted. That was a lot of fun doing it that way and not focusing on instructing you or telling you what I was using. And if you have any questions about what I'm using, leave me a comment, send me a message. I'd be happy to tell you what they were, but I think we just want to hang out and play with makeup, you know? So what's on the agenda for today? Besides filming a review after this, I have a psychiatrist appointment, and I'm to the point, I'm really excited. I'm to the point where I only see my psychiatrist like once every 3 months. And I see a psychiatrist because I have bipolar disorder and ADD or ADHD. Again, I can never remember what it is. I just don't remember what I was diagnosed with at all. And I'm going to be using the Vice Limited Reloaded that I depotted and rearranged because honestly, I haven't touched it since I rearranged it. So I really want to play with it. So I thought it'd be cool to tell you guys, since we've opened up the conversation about illness, all kinds of illness, to tell you guys kind of my bipolar story, because I've never really talked about that before, like how I was diagnosed, everything that's gone on with being bipolar. I thought it'd be really fun for you guys to get to know that side of me and really understand me a little bit more. And you guys can share your stories too if you're comfortable. It's all up to you, no pressure. So I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder at 18 years old. It was not one of those things where I like had a psychotic breakdown and went to the hospital and they, you know, diagnosed me as bipolar at that point. It was kind of a referral from a friend sort of thing. So I was a freshman in college. It was spring semester, and all year I had been trying to do everything. I was a full-time student, a part-time bather at a grooming salon, and a athlete for the university. I was a college cheerleader, and I was trying to balance all those things. And by spring semester, I feel like it was all getting to me and I was kind of starting to lose control. And I was starting to not leave my room and sleep all the time and be really sad. But at the same time, I was also being like hyperactive and like just going off with strangers and doing dangerous things like that. So I believe I was in a mixed state at the time, and my friends were kind of noticing that something was going on, but they weren't like overly concerned because honestly, the whole year I had been a little weird because that's just how I've always been. But spring semester, it went to like an extreme level, and someone close to me who had been struggling with depression for years and years and years recently got a new doctor, and they re-diagnosed her with bipolar disorder. And she talked to me and she's like, Rachel, they were telling me about bipolar disorder and all the symptoms and everything, and it sounds just like you. I think you should go see someone. That like really hit me hard and threw me for a loop, and I like freaked out and I didn't know what to do. Sorry, my dogs are little buttheads sometimes. I didn't know what to do. I was freaking out like, oh my god, I might be crazy. What the heck? I was freaking out, and I went to a counselor at the university, and because he was free, and he didn't really help me. He kind of just pissed me off. So I ended up making an appointment with the doctor that my friend had gone to and gotten re-diagnosed with, and he specialized in like children and adolescents. So he really knew how to relate to an 18-year-old girl. And it was an hour-long session, as most intro appointments usually are. And he sat down and talked to me, and within, I think, the first half hour at least, he said like, oh yes, you have bipolar disorder, and just talking to you about your childhood and the way things have been for you always, like you have had bipolar disorder since early childhood. And I can't believe no one has taken you to a psychiatrist before this, and no one has diagnosed you before this, because it is very obvious, very clear, and you have definitely suffered more than you have had to. Like, we could have treated it and helped you. So that was kind of like a bomb dropped on my world. Like, yes, you are crazy, because in school people had always called me crazy, like called me Crazy Rachel. And like, yes, you are crazy. You're nuts, Rachel. You're officially nuts. And I like couldn't handle it. I withdrew from spring semester, and I tried to like gather myself, but it was a lot to deal with, that diagnosis, especially with, at the time, like 11 years ago, it was a lot less accepted to, you know, be in everyday society and have bipolar disorder. I have pretty much been bipolar my whole life, according to the doctor when I was diagnosed. So I started treatment right away, and I was trying like the medications that he recommended, and we kept switching combinations because I wasn't stabilizing. Finally, fall semester came back around, and I went back to school, and I got on this new medication because we were still trying out different combinations, and I went crazy. Like, I officially went crazy. I was delusional, obsessive, just that time is kind of a blur, and I know I was out of my mind. And I was delusional, and I thought I was getting better, and I was telling my doctor that everything was great, so he wasn't changing the medication. And at the time, I was living with my sister. She got laid off of her job, and I was supporting both of us, so I was spending all my money on rent and not buying food. I lost a lot of weight and got malnutrition and lost my insurance and dropped out of school, and it was a big hot mess. So obviously I stopped taking that medication because I didn't have insurance and everything, and then I kind of got back to normal and realized I had been freaking like nuts. I was nuts during fall semester, but it took until spring semester, I believe, or maybe it was winter semester of sophomore year, which was technically freshman year credit-wise, to really lose everything and get off that medication. So after that, I stayed dropped out of school for a little while, and my sister decided to move in with her boyfriend at the time, so I had to find a place to live. So I ended up, after some couch surfing, moving in with some friends from my hometown. And I was still not seeing a doctor, still not medicated. I really was not doing well, and I got to the point where I couldn't even handle living with people anymore, and I broke the lease, and I left, and I got a studio apartment downtown, and I went to community college, and then I dropped out of community college after a couple quarters. And then I also got a full-time job at a call center, and then I quit that job to enroll in online school, and I stayed in my apartment all day and did nothing but go online and just be miserable in my studio apartment by myself all day. And that led to my first suicide attempt as an adult. I'm not going to go into the attempts of when I was a kid and I attempted suicide, but that was my first suicide attempt as an adult. I started the process of committing suicide, and then I could not, like, I went to go through with it, and I couldn't go through with it all the way. I only got halfway through, and I was like, well, I guess maybe I should go to the hospital. So I called my sister, and she came and picked me up and took me to the hospital, and that was like a nightmare. That was awful. They treated me so horribly. I have never wanted to punch a doctor in the face before until that hospital visit. And not since then either. Like, that's the only doctor I've ever wanted to punch in the face. And I think I actually tried, but I was really out of it. So after that, I moved in with my sister and her boyfriend so they could keep an eye on me and make sure I was doing okay. I dropped out of online school and got my old job at the salon back. I was working there, living with my sister, trying to make things work. Didn't have insurance, couldn't see a doctor, couldn't get medication. And I was just sinking back into depression, and I was really, really stinking miserable. So I decided the best thing for me, because I wasn't happy with my life at all, is that I should make a big change, and maybe that would help. So I decided to move 1,200 miles away from my family and come to Colorado from Washington. And my mom drove me here, and all I brought with me on my move was everything I could fit in my mom's little car. I had some friends out here, so I stayed with them, and then we all got a house together. I was able to transfer, because it was for a corporate salon, I was able to transfer and still have a job, and they wanted to send me to grooming school, so I was able to become full-time and get insurance. So finally, when I moved to Colorado, I got back into treatment. I think I finally finished this from my project pan. It's like barely coming out. Okay, so got into treatment. It kind of was helping, because when I first moved to Colorado, I was like, again, kind of losing it. And like, that's how you know Justin's a keeper, because he wanted to be with me and he loved me, like, even at my absolute batshit craziest. So I went and got medication, and it seemed to be working. Like, I seemed to be stabilized, but it was the kind of stabilized where I was just like not really enjoying life, but I wasn't going crazy up or down. So we kept it at that for like a year, and then out of nowhere, depression hits me hard, like hard. And out of nowhere, just one day, just like folding the laundry, Apis pees on my bed, and I just lose it, and I just try and kill myself. And it doesn't work, obviously. I'm still here. So I decide to check or call my friend and have her take me to the hospital and check myself into the hospital. So I went to the hospital again. This time they held me for a bit longer than the first time. It was a really shaky recovery from there, like, because my doctor wanted to keep me on the same medications that like weren't working, and I don't feel like for a while I ever really recovered from that. A year later, I was still not doing so hot, and the medication was just keeping me in a place where I wasn't extremely high or extremely low, but I still felt really depressed and unhappy and not okay. So I decided I needed another change. So I quit my stable job with insurance, and I went to work for a call center where I could do customer service for a makeup company, which I was really excited about, despite the fact it was a call center and it paid like not nearly what I was getting paid before. It was a change, and I felt like a change helped me last time. Maybe a change will help me again, because I'm so not happy here. I'm so miserable here, and I don't want to hospitalize myself again. I don't. While I was at the call center, I was able to get on Medicaid because it paid so little, and I went to a different doctor because, you know, Medicaid only covers, or only certain doctors take Medicaid. So I went to a different doctor, and it was actually a psychiatric nurse practitioner, but she was really good. And she tried me on so many different medications that I'd never tried before. She's like, oh, let's go through the list. You've already done this and this and this. Let's skip that and try these other ones. So we tried so many new medications, and we actually found medications where I was happy. Not just like in the middle, okay, but I was happy. It was like revolutionary. It changed everything for me. Like, I experienced happiness, like true happiness, not manic happiness, but true happiness for the first time in... So I was saying, when my camera cut out because I was talking for so long, that I moved to another salon and left the call center and did not qualify for Medicaid anymore and didn't have insurance. So I was without medication for a little bit, but then I was able to sign up. It was the sign up time for private insurance. I was able to qualify for a government assisted plan and get the coverage that I needed. It's still really expensive, but at least I don't have to pay the full $500 a month premium that is the plan that I'm on. I get some assistance with that, thank goodness. And I went back to my old doctor instead of the Medicaid doctor, just because, you know, she's like a Medicaid doctor and there's so many patients on Medicaid. I didn't want to like take away her time from another patient on Medicaid who might need her. I told him the treatments that I had been trying with her and what had been working, and he wanted to put me back on one of the medications that I had been on for so long under him that had not been working. And so I went back on lithium, and I don't know why he loves to put me on lithium, but he loves to put me on lithium. But he still combined it with one of the medications that was working so well. And that's where I'm at right now. I am in a really good place, like the best place. I still have my ups and downs. I still feel like I feel the cycles, but I am in control and I am truly happy. It is amazing. I truly never thought I would ever know what it's like to enjoy life and be happy. You know, you can't ever like stop the cycle and not feel the things, but you can actually be happy. It's crazy. And I am so thankful that I have had doctors who have listened to what I said, who have taken me seriously, and it really has made all the difference, because I know not every doctor is like that. Not every doctor will take a young woman seriously. I've experienced doctors that have not. It's worth it to keep trying and keep switching doctors and finding new doctors. Like, you can be happy. I swear to you, you can. Honestly, if you'd have talked to me 10 years ago and asked me if I thought I would ever be happy, if I would ever enjoy life, I would have told you, I think I'm gonna be dead in a few weeks. I thought I was gonna be dead by 19. I lived past 19 and tried to correct that at age 20 and again at like age 23. But here I am, 29 and proud and enjoying life. It's crazy. But yeah, I wasn't diagnosed till I was an adult, but they do say I was bipolar as a child. Honestly, my entire life, childhood included, I have never loved life and been as happy and fulfilled and joyful as I am in this time right now. It just blows my mind. I never thought I would have optimism. I have optimism now. And yeah, that's where I'm at now. I am loving being medicated. I hate having to take medications every day. Don't get me wrong, like it's a pain. Like every time I take my medication, I want to throw up. I have to have blood work done regularly to monitor the lithium levels, which reminds me, I should have had my blood work done like last week. Whoops. Way to go, Rachel. I know it doesn't seem like it now, but I seriously used to be one of the darkest, saddest people you've ever met. Crazy what proper treatment can do. ADD, if you're curious, I was diagnosed with that just within like the last year or two. I think the last year. Initially, I was prescribed Adderall for fatigue to counteract fatigue that I thought was a side effect of one of the medications that I'm taking. But then based on how I responded to the Adderall, my doctor diagnosed me with one of those illnesses. So I never remember which one it was. And I always forget to ask, do I have ADD or ADHD? Like, how do you bring that up at an appointment where you're explaining your mood? I don't know. So if you're wondering what shades I use from the Vice Limited Reloaded, I use this green, this green, this green, and this black. And just those 4 shades right there. Next, I'm gonna take a product that I'm reviewing. I'm just pointing it out in case you already watched the review and you wanted to see the part where I apply it. And I'm just putting this on my inner corner. This is the Too Faced Tutti Frutti Glitter. And just putting that on the inner portion. This is a really nice glitter top coat. I really enjoy it, although it does look like it's patching up the green eyeshadow underneath. Maybe I layered too much on. Yeah, I think it's like removing the shadow underneath a little bit. Is that just me? No, that's not just me. It's really removing the shadow underneath. Cool! Let's see if we can like pinpoint reapply some of that shadow so it doesn't look so patchy. And pinpoint reapply some of that glitter again so it doesn't look patchy. Oh yeah, it's working much better with a brush and just patting it on. This is pretty. It burns though. It burns, but it goes away. So my battery died, so I finished my liner and put on my lashes off camera since, you know, that takes forever and you don't need to see that anyway. So now I'm just going to put on a lipstick. I'm going to use Smashbox Always On liquid lipstick in Babe Alert. This is one I've neglected, so I'm going to give it a go. And I think I want to top this with a gloss, so I'm going in with the Catrice Prisma Lip Glaze. Yeah, that adds what I needed. Alright, we're almost done! And this is the finished look for my review and my psychiatrist appointment. Because I'm going coffee please and full glam for my psychiatrist appointment today. And I hope that my bipolar story was helpful to you in some way, helpful to understanding me, helpful to maybe encouraging you to get some help. I don't know, I like to help people, so I hope things I do help people. Oh my god, I have not had enough coffee. I'm just being a repetitive dork. Anyway, that completes this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you have not already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!